Welcome to All Ears, the official podcast of the Cedar Rapids Colonels, presented by Miracle Ear. I'm your host and voice of the Colonels, Calvin Cristoforo. On the podcast, you'll hear from past and present Cedar Rapids baseball influencers, including players, managers, executives, insiders, and more.
Cedar Rapids Colonels, let the good times roll.
Another episode of the Colonels Off-Season Podcast Edition, brought to you by our friends over at Miracle Ear, here with Colonels outfielder Rosario, Midwest League MVP this season, Midwest League champion, home run leader, RBI leader, list goes on. What a big season it was for Rosario in 2023. Happy you're with us. Bright and early, coming to us from the islands of Hawaii. Great to have you on, Rosie.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the off-season. January calendar flips, getting set now for 2024. How's the off-season treating you?
Off-season's going well. I mean, I'm just happy that I got to come home and, see my family and stuff. We've been training every day and stuff, so the grind it doesn't stop, but I mean, at least like I'm around my friends and my family and stuff, so it's good to be home, but I'm ready to kind of get back out there, get the season going.
What a year it was for you in 2023, and we'll start kind of as the year. We'll go in chronological order. It's a tough transition, I would assume, coming from you're from Hawaii, you play spring training in Fort Myers, you played last year in Fort Myers, and now you get to play April baseball in Iowa and Wisconsin and Illinois. So it took you a month or so to get going, but once you made some adjustments in May, I mean, your season really took off there.
Yeah, I mean, flying in for sure in April was kind of like a blur, because I mean, I really never been to like the Midwest before. So like when I flew in, I was like, ooh, this is a lot different than like Florida or what I'm used to back home. But yeah, it was a little slower to adjusting to the new area, and but I mean, I had good coaches, good teammates, and that kind of it made it a lot easier for me, for the transition to the new league.
What do you think was the biggest hurdle, coming was it the weather? Was it the level? Obviously, that's a jump too from A to high A. What do you think the biggest hurdle was, making that jump in the Midwest League?
I think for me, it was kind of like the same thing. Last year, I started off a little bit slow, but it's like, not trying to get too caught up into it, but realizing like, hey, like, okay, we need to work on something so that I can get going. And, I did that last year, and I did that this year. Like, I didn't get too caught up into it. Like, I knew I had a long season ahead of me, but I knew I had to make some little adjustments so that I could find success. And once I did that, then I kind of just stayed with it. And, I had a good year, and we won the whole thing, and I had so much fun playing for the Colonels this year. And, the coaches, the team we had, it was definitely one of the most fun I've had playing baseball.
Well, you got the ball rolling, and once it got rolling, it was going downhill. You finished the year 21 home runs, 94 RBIs. Both those lead the league. You're the Midwest League MVP. Let's go into that. How did you find out you're the MVP of the league, and what was your reaction when you found out that news?
I think it was like the last week of the season or so, or maybe in playoffs. I knew we were at home though, and we're kind of like in the clubhouse. I'm getting ready to go to the cage, and everyone's reading. They just posted about it. Oh, All-Stars. They're reading the All-Stars. It's like Dink Manager of the Year, Tanner Schobel, All-Star, and they're just going down the list. And they're like, play Rosario MVP, and then they just started going. The culture and the vibe we had in the locker room was pretty unbeatable, and everyone's chanting like everywhere I went. It was like MVP, and it was funny and cool, but yeah, just the love and support I got from them. I mean, it's what made the team so much better. But it was pretty exciting, like kind of hearing the news, because I like not really something I would ever think about. I would say like throughout the year. I mean, I was kind of just focused on just getting out there, getting better every day, and trying to win every game that I go out. Not really focused on like the MVP and stuff, but winning that is definitely like it's pretty cool. And just having all my teammates there to, share the moment with was a cool experience for me.
Certainly an awesome moment for sure. And then you mentioned the team winning the championship. It kind of seemed like that was the vibe all year, was to win, every night, like you just mentioned. How cool was it to finally put the cherry on top and win the big one at the end?
It was it's hard to put words into it. I mean, we played like really good, played Peoria, and then we played the Dodgers, and I mean, two great teams, and both games going to game three, which I mean, you kind of wouldn't want it any other way. It kind of made it a little, put the stakes a little higher. I mean, win or go home kind of thing. And then in the championship, when that second second game when everybody's under the weather, feeling sick, and we kind of all came together, and we actually played really well and finished the job. So, but I mean, we kind of knew it all year, like that we're like the best team. So it's kind of like really going out there and kind of just we all just had fun, did our job, just do what we do. And that was probably the best part of it. We didn't have to, stress too much. Like we knew what we are capable of, and we really just went out there and played. The coaches made it easier for us too. Like they knew we were good, so every meeting we would have, it would be like, hey, like you guys just go out there and do your thing, and the rest will take care of it.
And you mentioned fun a lot in our first 5 or so minutes here. When you look back on the season, is there a certain moment or memory that you said, "Hey, that was the most fun I've had," or in the year, or was it kind of just a collection of everything coming together that really made this group good to be with?
Um, there was a couple. I mean, I would say one of them was, I mean, going when me, Ben Ross, and Ortega went back to back to back. It's kind of like those little moments when you hit one and you see your friend go out there and he hits one, and then the whole dugout's just going crazy. And then Ortega just goes up there and he hits one. I mean, those are like the moments. And then we had like our walk-offs and stuff where it's so much, it's the middle of the year, and it's the minor leagues, and it's kind of tough to like play to win sometimes. But when you have like a team like that who's, it's fun to be around the guys. I think we had at the end of the year, I don't know if our household, me, Noah Miller, and Ben Ross all had a home run in one game. I don't know if we had one at the end of the year. I know every time it would be like two of us would get it, one guy didn't, but I know at the end we're always so close. I don't know if we got it or not, but kind of like the moments like that, it was just so fun because I mean we're really just out there, just a bunch of boys just playing the game.
And you kind of mentioned this, not really, but you kind of were hinting towards it can get hard in the dog days of summer, right? You're playing all summer long. August comes around, you're kind of tired. But one thing off the field that was kind of a big theme with a lot of you guys was golfing, and it seemed like there was a ton of big golf rivalries. Was that something you were a
Yeah.
part
Oh, I was the mayor of the thing. So I was the tea time guy. So I would coordinate everything. I would say, okay, guys, you guys show up this time. This time I got back to back tea times. We'll play like 4v. We'll play like, okay, winner loser has to buy dinner or something. But I mean, we had such a good time every week. Would try pretty much get out there just because it's a long season with baseball every day, and that was part of it. Like we had such a good core. Like on the off days, we'd go out to dinner or going out to the golf course. It's a good time, but we would have that competition on the golf course is unmatched. So
were there
I mean,
consistent teams and rivalries, or did you guys you mix it up, or what? How'd that all go down?
it was pretty consistent. It would be like me, Ben, and Miller, and it would be like McLeod. We had Ernie Yake when he was with us. He would be in our group. Mike Paredes would come a couple times, and then we'd do like us versus Andrew Cassetti, Kyle Jones, Zebby, um, Corey Lewis. That was kind of like their group, and then we had our group, and we would kind of just go at it. A little 4v4. It was a good time every time, but But we would pretty much get that. We would get out there every week, have a good time.
Cedar Rapids Colonels, let the good times roll. Hey, Colonels. Hey, 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 Colonels.
Hearing is important to living life to the fullest. That's why inside every Miracle Ear store, you'll find better laughs at family barbecues. You'll find a better life is in store at Miracle Ear when you experience the Miracle Ear exclusive advantage. It starts with our free hearing assessment, plus innovative products that will fit your needs and budget. With free service and adjustments for life, call 319-243-7105 to schedule a free hearing evaluation and find a better life in store. Our local Miracle Ear team is proud to support the Cedar Rapids Colonels.
Group outings are a great way to unwind and enjoy a night out, and we invite you to reach out to our group sales staff and see all the options we have.
Everybody knows when you're at the game, the good times roll. Hey, hey, Colonels, let the good times roll. Cedar Rapids Colonels, let the good times roll.
So once the season comes to an end, you're off to the Arizona Fall League. How'd that come about? Did you know that was coming for a while?
Yeah, they let me know about maybe a month and a half or almost 2 months before the season ended. So yeah, I mean that was one of my goals this past year to make it to the fall league. Once I heard the news, I was super excited. I knew like the opportunity was pretty huge to go to the fall league, and you perform in the fall league, and that's kind of like the next step into making it to the big league. So I was excited to get the opportunity to kind of show that I could compete with that caliber of players and stuff. So it was pretty cool getting the news that I was going to be able to go there.
And what was that experience like? Because you're playing with Twins guys up and down the system who you probably haven't seen since spring training. Former Colonel Aaron
Hmm.
Sabato, Jordan Carr, who was with the Colonels for a long time before his promotion. Ben
Yeah.
Etheridge, who spent the year in Fort Myers, was on the team. How was that? Playing with guys up and down the system.
Yeah, I mean it was a cool experience. I mean, we got some good players in the system and stuff, and you know, just having that relationship with them, like with Sabato, I knew Sabato for a couple years already, so kind of knowing a guy when I get there, and then um, me and him kind of just feeding off each other's energy and stuff, and going out there and competing and stuff. So I would say that's the best thing about pro ball is that everybody is plays at such a high caliber that you can just compete against everybody, and it makes yourself so much better. But
You and
I
Sabato
mean the
definitely
yeah.
had some competitions. You guys finished first, tied for first in the league, 7 home runs apiece. I mean, how did you, after such a long season, was it tough to carry that same everyday energy from the end of
Yeah, it was
38
it
games?
was it was tough for sure, like keeping the same energy. But I mean, at the same time, it was like a learning experience for me, like saying, okay, like I have to do maybe something a little different so I can, next year when I'm in this like game 150 of the year, that my body feels, a little bit better. So, it was a good experience. Now I'm prepared going into next year, maybe to do a little bit something different so that I'm ready if I'm playing in September or October, because if I want to play in the next level, that's how long the years go. So yeah.
Something else about that fall league team too, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. You were with the Dodgers too, right? Your guys.
Yeah.
How was that kind of weird? I'm sure there was a couple of Great Lakes guys on that team too. That hey,
Yeah.
remember when we just beat you in the championship? Now we're teammates.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty cool with all of them. And the Great Lakes pitching coach is actually our pitching coach for the fall league. And it was like the first day I got there, I'm like walking because I knew one of the guys with the Dodgers. So I'm like walking up to the Dodgers side of the clubhouse. They're on the other side of where I was. So I'm walking over, and then I see him, and he's like, "We're never throwing you a fastball ever again." And just talking, shooting it up, and he was a great dude. And just kind of having that, like after the game conversations. He's like, dude, I don't want to face you again. And it's just funny. having those, and then there was a couple of Great Lakes, the pitchers and stuff, kind of just talking to them about it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, when you're in the game, just the competition is there, but it's just fun, kind of like after the game that you can kind of win or lose, you kind of just laugh about it after, because when you're out there on the field, you're giving it your all. So like when you're done, it's like, oh, you're just out there, you're joking around with your buddies.
That's has to be a little bit of an interesting dynamic because I believe it's 6 organizations on one team in the fall league. And you only got a month or so to come together. How was that? Building that team camaraderie with a bunch of guys from a bunch of different orgs.
Yeah, it's definitely a little weird, but at the same time, it's like everybody's around like the same age and stuff. Everyone's kind of got a similar vibe. Some guys are a little different, but I mean, we're kind of just going out there and playing, and then the vibes kind of just went from there. I'd say it's definitely tough, like the first week or so, but I mean, it was fun. I had a great experience, and the guys on my team, bunch of great dudes, and it's kind of cool, like guys from other team or the guys that played with on my team, like you know, I might see them in the big leagues next year and be like, yeah, just that guy was on my team last year, and just that part of the part of the game is kind of cool.
Stay connected with the Cedar Rapids Colonels all year long by following the Colonels on social media. Catch up with the Colonels on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at CR Colonel.
Talking to Colonels outfielder Colette Rosario here on the Colonels All Year podcast presented by our friends at Miracle Year. This is off-season episode 2, trying to get more of these off-season episodes rolling. So happy Rosie can join us, even with the 5-hour time difference from the islands of Hawaii. We just had the new year turn from 2023 to 2024, but 2023, man, crazy year for you. I mean, when you look back on the year, what are some of the moments and memories you're going to remember from this 2023 season, 365 days?
I mean, I would really just say like winning like that the first half championship. I mean, that was the first half was kind of like the true core of the team, of what the team like we really started with, which was pretty cool to kind of win it with those guys. And we started off really bad and stuff. And then once we winning a couple games, we really didn't stop from there. And then we won the first half. And once we did that, and then, I mean, winning it all at the end was kind of like the icing on top. But I mean, kind of having that core in the beginning and like having that team, and then, still winning it at the end with a couple of different players and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would say the whole year is something, I'll look back at and, have so much moments from. And I'm sure next year we'll have a pretty similar team, as we move up and stuff. And, just every year kind of just creating this core and stuff. I mean, the goal is to kind of take it to the big leagues one day. And, we're winning games at CR. We want to win games in Minnesota one day. So, I feel like everybody has the same goal, and, whether we make it or not, that's what we're striving for.
For you personally, I mean, what areas of growth did you see? I'm sure it was a goal to hit, 20 plus home runs, drive in nearly 100 RBIs, go to the fall league and hit 7 more home runs. But what do you think you accomplished, in that year yourself for a personal goal that you had and maybe you accomplished, or how did you see yourself grow throughout the year?
I mean, for sure, I've felt like I had a lot better at bats as the year went on. It made me a tougher out, which I got on base more with walks and stuff. And walks was a big thing that I kind of wanted to work on. But I mean, the RBIs and stuff are cool, but I mean, I just did my part. It was more so like I mean, every time I'm up, there's guys on base, so it really just showed you how good we were because, I mean, 1 through 9, like, guys are getting on base, and, I was doing my job when I got up there, but, I give most of the credit to my teammates and stuff, just, them, driving and getting hits, getting on base, and then we're kind of gelled as a team, and that's what made us so good is that everybody did their part. But I mean, yeah, I had a lot of growths this year, but I still had my struggles and stuff, and I'm excited like to take moments from when I struggled, and now I have some pieces that I can take into next year that I can still grow and I can get a lot better than the season that I had this year. So kind of just taking in the season I had this past year, I'm grateful for what I did and but not trying to be satisfied with it. Kind of just going into next year and trying to take the struggles that I had this past year and make myself a little bit better.
One more thing on last season, I want to ask you a couple questions about your goals coming up here for 2024. But aside from the championship clinching game, the first half clinching game, a game that sticks out for me, and I'm sure that probably sticks out for you, was that 23-5 game in Lansing where you guys hit all these runs in. You had a grand slam. There was multiple grand slams. That was kind of what you were alluding to when it comes through 1 through 9 coming through. What do you remember about that night? And when an offense is clicking like that, how fun is it to be a part of something like that?
Huh. I mean, I remember that week. That's actually the every time if I'm struggling or something, I go back to that game, which is, I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, I played really well that week, and sometimes you got to go back to it was simple that week. I wasn't thinking that much. I was just kind of going out there and playing. But I mean, yeah, it's when you have games like that, it's fun. And then I think that was like the first time that a position player has come out in my career. And I was honestly really nervous because like I wasn't coming up to like I think that was like the ninth batter because I think Ben led off and I think I was 3 and he was 4 and I was like, all right, I'm probably not gonna hit, but I was like, I probably will though. I was like,
You were
damn,
nervous? Was it you
I
didn't
was
want to
like,
be that guy that gets struck out by the position player? What were you nervous about?
I mean, yeah, you don't want to be that guy who I mean gets out regardless. You don't want to swing and miss. You don't want to, it's like a lose-lose situation almost. I mean, if you get a hit, it's like, oh, you're supposed to get a hit. But I mean, it was fun though, like kind of going up. And Ben had 2 home runs off him. Ema had a home run, and I got my little capper hit over the second baseman. I was like, oh, I was happy. We'll take those. But it was it was definitely fun. Just having those type of games and when just everything's kind of clicking. And then even for the pitchers, it makes it easier for the pitchers because then they just get to go out there, just throw the ball. Like you don't gotta worry about nothing. And then obviously it makes it easier for the hitters and stuff. But yeah, that week it was an exciting week of baseball and stuff.
You can correct
But
me if
yeah,
I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure you had a 4 home run stretch games in a row, 4 home runs that week.
yeah, yeah. That's probably one of my better weeks that I look back at and you know just kind of what I go back to like I always kind of go back to that week and stuff and seeing that success is kind of sometimes you gotta see it when you're struggling. Okay, I got this, and then you kind of just go from there.
Absolutely. And now you're looking ahead to 2024 spring training coming up. Less than 2 months now from when we're recording this episode. Obviously your goal is to make the big leagues, right? That's everyone's goal at this point. But when you look at this, take out what level you're playing aside. What are some goals for this upcoming year for you?
I mean, my goal every year is coming in like making sure that I'm prepared. I don't ever want to be like getting into a season and play catch up with my body or something. I don't want to once I get into the season, I want to make sure that I'm at 100%, that I can go out there and perform at my best. So that's like a minimum. I always priority number one is being healthy and being prepared. And, it starts from the off season, getting the work in every day. But I mean, I would say my goals is more like just going out there and being consistent, but at the same time, I'm still young and I want to get better. So, you know, growing with my defense, growing when I'm at the plate, like, being a little bit more consistent. Um, but I would say I don't really focus on like one thing, more that I kind of just like go out there, play the game. I'm learning, through my struggles. So when I do struggle, I know what I need to work on. And I kind of just go from there. So for me, it'll be more like just focusing on preparation. Because if I'm prepared, then I know if I'm 100% going on in that game, I'll perform. I'll perform well, and I'll. That's where the consistency will come. But it all starts from my preparation. So I think if I really stay toned with that, the rest will take care of itself.
Well, there you have it. Good luck in 2024, Rosie. We'll be watching you from Cedar Rapids, wherever you are. We thank you so much for taking the time this morning.
Thank you, bro.
That's Colonel's 2023 Midwest League champion, Colette Rosario, League MVP, 21 home runs, 94 RBIs with Cedar Rapids in the 2023 season. That wraps up this offseason edition of the Colonel's All Ear podcast presented by Miracle Ear. Hope to get these offseason podcasts rolling and hope to see you at the park in 2023.
Choosing Miracle Ear was a great decision. Like when I decided to host family movie nights. Miracle Ear made it easy. I just booked an appointment, and a certified hearing care professional evaluated my hearing loss and helped me find the right device calibrated to my unique hearing needs. Now I enjoy every moment. The quiet ones and the loud ones.
Your local Miracle Ear team is proud to support your Cedar Rapids Colonels. Enjoy the game.